everyone, once been here at the Battle Report. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've played a game of Warhammer. I've just kind of been busy and just kind of all the confusion right now with what's happening in the near future with Warhammer. Just hasn't been on top of my priority list. But there is a tournament coming up next weekend, and last week I was traveling all week long, but I was able to contact some people that live local to where I was, and was able to set up a couple games. Now I played one game. I did not take pictures because I just didn't feel like it, and the lighting wasn't great, and sometimes it's more trouble than it's worth. So this is the second game that I will have played with my tournament list, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun. It was fun getting back into it. So the tournament is Southern Assault in Durham, North Carolina. It is using the Swedish Komp system, but you have to be between 14 and 18, which means that you have to have a soft list, which means that you tend to get a greater variety of lists and see things that otherwise you don't normally see. 2,500 points by Bretonnians versus an Ogre list. So on the far right, he's got a unit of 6 lead belchers, and he has a unit filler there that looks pretty cool. In front of him, he has some Gnoblar trappers. Then he's got a unit of 2 saber tusks, and that is a concession to the comp system. Another 6 lead belchers. Then he's got 2 units of regular bulls. He's having to proxy a lot of iron guts in there, but they are regular bulls. In the unit on the right, he's got his 3 characters. A lot of this is typical ogre stuff. He's got characters that are high toughness, a lot of wounds, so he just gives them a great weapon. And yeah, but one thing I noticed in there that there was no Crown of Command, so that's very nice. In between those units is another unit of 2 saber tusks, and then he has a unit of man-eaters. These models are awesome. Gave him poison and immune to psychology. I thought the immune to psychology was interesting. Yeah, I mean, it certainly has some benefits, but I think it's a double-edged sword because you can't flee with them, and sometimes I think you just need to be able to flee. But whatever, they have a brace of pistols, of course. And then he has 2 gorgers that I know will be coming on at some point. Starting on the right. So I thought I was tricking him out, putting all my stuff in the middle of the table, and then throwing my knight units over here. I don't think he cared. I think one thing it did that was nice about this is by the time he placed his man-eaters, he didn't really have room to put them over here, and so they're far enough away from my knights that I'm not really worried about them. On the far right, I've got Knights Errant, and then I've got 12 Knights of the Realm. They've got the Standard of Discipline and my BSB. I did not put my general in there because I wanted him in the unit on the left, which has the Swiftness banner, and it's got the Paladin with Impetuous, and then of course he's got the Heroic Killing Blow. I gave him the build. He's more defensive, so he's got a 1-up rerollable, and he's got the Always Strikes First sword, so he gets to reroll to hit, but he doesn't get to reroll to wound. I actually like that better. It's more fun, but I like him to survive too, so there's that. I've got a unit of 16 or 17 bowmen. I've got one with 7. I think the one on the right is the one with 17. Right in between them, I've got a Grail Reliquary. Haven't pulled this thing out in a long time. I love it. This is my favorite way of deploying it. Again, I don't think there's anything sacred about going 5 wide, so I just put it the width of the Reliquary itself, which is 40 mil wide, and then put all the battle pilgrims behind it. They're not going to do any damage in combat anyway. So this just means a little bit fewer attacks coming at them. Then I've got a unit of 3 Grail Knights. I had to have a model with a Grail Vow in order to take the Reliquary, and the cost of putting that on a character is a full Grail Knight. So I figured, or almost. So I figured, I get one for free. I just grab a couple others. Kind of a utility piece. It's going to be hard to keep them alive, but whatever. Those dice in the back of them, that represents my Prophetess. Now again, I'm on a trip, and I was certain that I brought the model for that, so I was freaking out. Like, dang it, I think I must have left it in a hotel room or something, and I was really bummed. So in this game, she is a couple of dice. Then I've got a unit of 5 Peg Knights and my Soul Trebuchet. So I Vanguard the Peg Knights up on the left. Now the Peg Knights, I mean, 5 strong, it's a lot of points, there's a lot of stuff they can do, but they cannot charge any of these big blocks in the front, so not really sure the best use for them. I'd like to get them over to the lead belchers. They're just so far away. But if I could just distract his units with them, I'll take that, at least in the short term. So, of course, Ogres go first. He moves, as you can see, during the magic phase. he gets irresistible force on a comet. I think he only used 3 dice on it too. The miscast doesn't do a whole lot. I think he puts a couple wounds on the unit, and he puts a comet right there. You see it. So now it's like, darn, I've got to either stay back totally away from the thing, but then what if it doesn't go off? If I move up, then I'm a little too far away to get most charges off. But if I move up so that I might be able to charge in the near future, and that thing goes off, it could wreck my line. So nice spot for that. Then he opens up his shooting, and the unit on the left, oh my gosh. So it felt like he did so many wounds. He killed 5 Knights of the Realm. My leftmost unit did 2 wounds on my Knights Errant unit. So afterwards I did the math because 5 seemed excessively high. And if you look in the top right, that's what I came up with. With 6 guys shooting, he should get on average 21 shots, which should, hitting on 5 should be 7 hits, 4.6 wounds, 2.3 wounds after armor saves, 1.9 wounds after ward saves. So the Knights Errant, that's what I felt like my experience has been with it. He kills a couple Knights, and that's, it's never wonderful, but it's manageable. But killing 5 on the left, it was 2.5 times over average. That was rough. And yeah, ouch. So now I've got a decision to make, and what I decided to do is go ahead and try to make the charge from my leftmost unit into his into his unit with all his characters. He doesn't have standard of discipline. He has standard of discipline. He doesn't have crown of command. I'll have a charge. I'll almost certainly do. I think I'll do a lot more wounds than him. And if it works, I think that's just the game. If it doesn't work, I'll be hurting because I've got it's a big unit of knights and my generals in there. But anyway, it's a choice to make, and I said, yeah, let's go for it. So I need to roll, if I roll average on my movement dice, I need to roll at least a 5 on my impetuous die, and I did exactly that. The funny thing is, I actually rolled a 6 on the impetuous die, but it was cocked. I was like, darn it, and I rolled it again, got another 6. So I put them all the way up. I'm looking at the top middle of this picture, move as leftmost as possible, and I move my knights up and to the right, on the right. So basically, if the comet goes off, there's a 50-50 chance that it will. He's got to roll a 9 or better to hit my knight units. I think it could have been an 8. I think it's a 9. Either way, 50-50 chance that it won't go off, and then there's a greater than a 50-50 chance that it won't reach my lines. So I'm hoping that'll be enough. Here on the left, I move my Reliquary up. Really, I just want to block up his man-eaters. I mean, if he charges them, he could overrun. If he beats them, if he beats them, I'll be steadfast on an 8, and I'm hoping that's enough because I very aggressively moved my prophetess, represented by 2 white dice, right behind the Reliquary, and I did that as an afterthought so that she could possibly get a buff off or a hex off in the combat that really matters. It's a risk. If he charges the Reliquary and they fail their stubborn 8 and they overrun far enough, he might hit my prophetess. He might hit those bowmen. I don't remember. And if he's wide enough, he might hit the bowman on the left. So anyway, taking a lot of chances here, which is never a good sign. So yeah, there's that. I'm actually pretty hopeful. Like I said, he's only got 2 ranks. I don't think he's going to get me under 2 ranks. Everything on the right can only kill the champion. And I've got 2 characters. My paladin with impetuous is going to be in a challenge. I don't think he'll get killed, but even if he is, he's not going to be able to bleed over into the rest of the unit. And then I've got my general with the 1-up rerollable. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. So then the comet goes off. Damn it all. It goes off. He rolls a 9 and then just proceeds to blow up this unit, doing 4 wounds. I don't know what odds say he should have got there, but ouch. 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 I'm so glad this is not in a tournament. He kills 3 knights for my BSB's unit, and it doesn't quite reach my my Knights Errant, or if it does, it doesn't kill anything. After combat, yeah, so the one thing I didn't count on was that he was able to sneak a wound through just using rank and file onto my champion. So the champion's dead, and then his BSB, who has a great weapon, swings last, and he kills the rest of the unit. which only took 2 wounds, but he actually did 4 wounds. He could have, if he even had more knights, he would have done 4. So I hadn't been planning on that, but that's a good point to remember. I kind of thought in my magic phase I would get a spell off, but my opponent had a dispel scroll, so I think he scrolled, like I got harmonic convergence, he scrolled it, and then I tried to ice shard him, and he used his dice to stop it. So, and that's the problem with doing a charge like this so early in the game. He still has all that kind of stuff. So yeah, lost combat, but we stuck. And again, my paladin's in a challenge with I think the Slaughtermaster, so I don't think he's going to die in combat. And the general, he's probably at risk from his battle standard bearer if he moves him over because his battle BSB is strength 7, and even though I have a 1-up rerollable, that means I have a 5-up, 5-up, and then a 5-up ward with the other trickster shard. Oh wait, no, I'm not touching his Slaughtermaster. So anyway, it's possible my guys could stick around there, but I'm almost thinking the best thing that might happen is to lose combat, run, get away, because if he brings his BSB over to my general, I better hero kill and blow him, otherwise he's going to kill my guy within a round or 2 of combat. So we go to Ogre's turn 2. Overall, the board looks at that. He decides not to charge the Man-Eaters at my Grow Reliquary. I'm not sure what exactly his plan is for them. The Grow Reliquary is probably more points than those archer units. And Gorger number 1, now he's having to proxy his Gorgers because he left the model somewhere. So he brings them on way over here. I think that's a good plan. It hadn't even occurred to me because I'm dumb. He brings his saber tusks up, and I think this is a real mistake. He puts them to where I can charge them. I'll certainly win combat, overrun, and it doesn't take much. I think I need a 6 or a 7 to get into one of his Leadbelcher units. So he's really just setting up. I almost wonder if he has a trick in mind or something, because that's just making it way too easy for me. This Noblar Trappers, I think, are a good little trick because he can shoot over them without any kind of penalty. And if I charge him, every model in my unit has to take a dangerous terrain test. So, nice little trick with them. There's another look at the board. After combat, yeah, after shooting, I'm going to go back one. Yeah, look at how many knights. So after shooting, you can see he's killed some knights on the right. Combat, he doesn't kill. He puts 1 wound on my paladin. He doesn't kill anybody. Otherwise, he does break us from combat. We roll high enough to hit the Grow Reliquary, bounce through it, and then it fails its panic test and runs almost off the board. It's only on by an inch. And then thankfully he didn't catch it. This is probably the best thing that could have happened to me. My guys get away, and far enough away that I can rally, and he still probably can't catch him. The danger I'm in is if his Man-Eaters charge my bowman, that's a long charge. I think he needs a 10. If he charges it and makes it, he'll overrun, hit my general, and get those points easily. So that would be rough. So go to Bretonnia turn 2. It's been a rough game. It's over 1.5 turns into it. So I charge the Knights Errant into the Noblar Trappers. I've got to take a dangerous terrain test on 7 guys, and I roll 3 ones. Yeah, no, really, it can stop anytime now. It can stop. So yeah, that's great. Otherwise, I charge the Saber Tusks. Shooting is, I'm pretty much trying to pick on these guys as much as I can. The Trebuchet's not doing a whole lot, but it finally hits, and I take, I think, 2 models off of these guys, so that's nice. They're still plenty strong to deal with anything I have on the left side of the board, but nevertheless, I'll take what I can get. The other guys, I think I would have shot at them, but I don't think I had line of sight on some of them, so just went ahead and shot at these guys, and there's nothing of significance happening. They do a few wounds. And after combat, yeah, the Noblars die, and my Knights Errant roll high enough that I just miss getting into his Leadbelchers. So I'm just sitting there right in front of everything, and giving his leftmost Leadbelchers a flank charge. Meanwhile, my BSB's unit that only needed like a 6 or a 7 to get into his Leadbelchers, yeah, we failed it, and are sitting out there like how. We couldn't even kill the Saber Tusks. There's still a Saber Tusk remaining with 1 wound. He's never going to rally, going to go off the board, but still, that's yeah, it can stop, really, truly. So we go to Ogres turn 3. So at the very top right, he charges the flank of my Knights Errant. I'm thinking that's got to be just super easy points there. He doesn't bother charging with the lead belchers in their front because it's just not necessary. Top middle, you can see his unit. I'm just kind of flying my Peg Knights around and keeping out of his line of sight and stuff. So that unit is effectively out of the game. Not necessarily. He still has time to get up and around, but he hasn't been able to do much yet, which is really nice. His man-eaters charge my bow. Actually, no, he decides not to charge the bowman. And yeah, it's just kind of sitting there. I mean, he moved up a little bit, but I don't think he moved up a lot. I'm just not sure what his plan is for that unit. But yeah, I'm glad he didn't. If he did, he was likely to fail and probably be in the same spot anyway. So, for all intents and purposes, even if he had charged, it's probably where it probably would have landed. Let's see. By the way, if you look lower right, my prophetess, the 2 dice, has a wound on it. I think that came from casting a direct damage spell on the Gorger. I did 3 wounds out of his 4, or 4 wounds out of his 5. Whatever I've done. He has 1 wound left. There's that. I've given up hope on this unit. And yeah, so his Gorger charges the flank of my knight unit. And so I'm looking and like the bad thing about this is that guy is unbreakable. But the good thing is he has no armor saves and just has 1 wound left. Now the guy has killing blow too, so I've learned my lesson that. The problem is he's just pinning my BSB's unit in place, and he's taken his unit with all his characters in it, and he just reformed him. He's just going to go get those points. So I decide, since luck is really on my side this game, what I'm going to do is just take my BSB back and risk his getting killing blow. That'll give me more attacks. I just need 1/6 to wound on the Scourger, and he's dead. My prophetess got him down to 1 wound left. So I do that. We fail our fear test. We can't hit anything, do no wounds to him. He puts all his attacks by BSB and kills him. And then, so he wins combat, but I'm steadfast, and I fail it. And then he beats and runs down this unit. That was awesome. Now the plan was get the BSB over there, hope to get lucky enough to get a 6, because what if I don't do that, if we stick around, I'm dead. There's nothing I can do. If I do that, I can reform counterclockwise, facing, let's say, 7 on the clock. I could, or maybe not that quite that much, but I could make it to where I could charge his general's unit and be in their flank, and I could charge him in the rear with the Peg Knights and in the flank with the BSB's unit, and I could turn this game around. So that, I know it was a risk, but my BSB back there, it gave me 2 more attacks, and it didn't pay off, but I still probably would have done the same thing again. Meanwhile, he charges a flank of my Knights Errant, and he only does a single wound. Knights Errant stick. I think they needed a 5. Like, what was going on here? Way to go. So my opponent, he decides he's worried about the Peg Knights charging the lead belchers in the rear. So he decides just to go ahead and reform and give the rear to my Knights Errant, assuming presumably that he can still do enough wounds to win combat, or at least not break. His general, he has good leadership and everything nearby, so my assumption is that he's planning on that, helping him out. So we go to Bretonnia turn 3. I decide just to go ahead and take the Peg Knights into the rear of his general's unit. Really, because I'm thinking, what else are these guys going to do? They were far enough away from the lead belchers. I didn't mind charging the lead belchers. I was just so far away, I thought I'd fail it anyway. So this, I think I can do a bunch of wounds on him. He'll be steadfast 10 rerollable, so they're not going anywhere, but I think I at least have a chance of maybe doing something. And worst case scenario is a turn or 2 from now, I could break from combat, but I should get away, and so it's just taking chances, but I've got nothing else to do, and the game's going down the toilet. The general and his paladin and the Reliquae all rally, so that's nice. Yeah, so there's that. Hoping the Peg Knights can pull off a miracle. And of course, this combat still has to be fought. Grail Knights, I'm just moving them around. There's nothing here that they're not going to do. I mean, if they charge the the man-eaters are just going to die. If they charge any of his blocks, are going to die. It's kind of a little utility piece. Can't do a whole lot. If you look at the bottom left, his other Gorgia came on, and he is facing the Trebuchet. Probably a good target, but the Trebuchet hasn't done anything much all game. Until now. And actually, I take that back. The Trebuchet still didn't do anything, but the archers opened up, and I think possibly the Prophetess might have helped out. And we've got the man-eaters very, very, very much more manageable. I think this was actually after magic. Then we go to shooting, and the archers say, take that. And I think if they charge, I think they still beat that archer unit, but they're getting more manageable. And these guys shoot at the Gorger that killed my BSB and that whole unit, and he only had one wound left. They could roll a 6, so that was nice. And after combat, yeah, we took a couple bottles off, did a bunch of wounds. But yeah, he wasn't going anywhere. And it's funny because in my mind I'm thinking, even if he wins combat, now he's down to less than 5 rank and file models, and my Trebuchet can start picking off characters. And I just wasn't thinking that the Gorger just popped up, that he's going to charge me in his next turn. That Trebuchet is dead, so yeah. Meanwhile, yeah, so the Lead Belchers turned their back to me because they were so disdainful of 3 remaining Knights Errant, and he can't do any wounds. I've got a rear bonus +2, so whatever wounds I do, we beat them. And because of the reform, I don't think my opponent failed like a 10 rerollable, whatever it was. I think he was after the reform, his leadership was low or something. I don't know. Anyway, but we beat and ran down the Lead Belchers, which caused a panic test on the other Lead Belchers. He ran towards the table side. Didn't go off the table, but he is where you can see him. So, way to go, Knights Errant. Meanwhile, we'll go to Ogres turn 4. His man-eaters decide they do want to charge the archers. He needs next to nothing. I think he needs like a 5, and he fails it. And we do a wound on the stand and shoot. 4 man-eaters. His Lead Belchers rally kind of bummed me out. I would have really liked for them to run off the table. And yeah, there's the stand and shoot. Take that. After combat, yeah, predictably he wins this time. Having Swift Stride doesn't matter. I rolled with Swift Stride a 4, I think. A 4, maybe 5, and he easily catches me. So that didn't go according to plan. But the plan was a desperate one anyway. So we go to Bretonnia turn 4. At this point, I'm realizing, I don't have anything left on the table. I really just need to try to conserve points as much as possible. I'm trying to get the Knights Errant as far away from his Lead Belchers as possible. I move the Grail Knights out of line of sight of his other big bull unit. Otherwise, yeah, I'm leaving the Grail Reliquary where it is because I'm thinking if his man-eaters charge the archers, I still think he can beat them and all that, but my Reliquary is not going to get charged by anything else, and if man-eaters go into it, as long as they can pass their stubborn, I think they'll last the rest of the game. My characters are all moving towards the right, just to make sure they can skip away from being charged. And we get another magic missile off on these guys, do some more wounds. The problem is, despite using few dice, it was irresistible force. And, of course, my Prophetess rolls Dimensional Cascade and gets sucked into the void. Of course she did. But the archers pick them off. Way to go, archers. Kill the whole unit of man-eaters. My Trebuchet, I don't think, ever really helped with it. They might have hit it once and done a little bit, but this is mainly a couple magic missiles and a bunch of bowman shots. And we go to Ogres turn 5. Yeah, so his bull unit steps up to take the place of the man-eaters. His Lead Belchers are moving up just to shoot at my stuff. Look at the top left. He charges 2 saber tusks into the face of 3 Grail Knights. And I'm like, those aren't many points, but thank you for the points, because, they're freaking Grail Knights. His Lead Belchers make easy short work of the Knights Errant, so they blow them off the table. And the saber tusks charge in, and I get to swing first. I do only a single wound. Being the best human fighters in the world, I do a single wound to this cat, and they kill 2 Grail Knights, and I'm lucky to stick. You freaking kidding me? Bretonnia turn 5. Um, I turned my Grail Reliquary to the left because the Gorger had charged the Trebuchet and had to overrun. Then he moved, and the next turn he'll be charging them. Meanwhile, my characters are far to the right, just away from stuff. He can have these. I'd love to save these points. They're not enough to justify risking characters for. So my two remaining characters are hiding out in the corner. Yeah, we shoot. We do some wounds. Nothing that's going to gain us any points, I don't think. This time, the remaining Grail Knight decides to actually kill the cat, so he kills and runs him down. The problem is my opponent's going to get to shoot at him in his next turn. We go to Ogres turn 6. He pulls the Slaughtermaster out to face the Grail Knight. I hadn't considered that, so that he can cast magic at the guy. The Lead Belchers move up so they can shoot at him. His Big Bull unit charges the Bowmen. He's easily going to crush them. And his Gorger charges the Grail Reliquary. I just need to pass my Stubborn 8. There's that. Yeah, I think he's got that one pretty easily. And yeah, so he magics the Grail Knight, and I forgot what spell. It doesn't matter, but he wasn't able to get a single wound through. Hold on a second. And then then he shoots at him with the Lead Belchers, and he is so funny. He rolled to hit and to wound and failed to wound any of them. And then we realized that he rolled one fewer die than he should have. So he rolled that one, hits, wounds him. I fail my armor save. Grail Knight dies. Yeah, the Bowmen are easily dead. The Reliquary decided it could not pass a Stubborn 8, so it died. And it couldn't get away either, of course. And during his magic phase, he put a comet down kind of near my characters to where my characters, because I was in the corner, I really can't get away from the comet. But I can get away enough. He has to roll an 8 or a 9, but of course, we know how that works. Bretonnia turn 6, I say screw it, and I charge my general into his Gorger. I wouldn't do that in a tournament. It's a risk not worth taking, but why not here? So it gets him pretty far away from the comet. The Paladin's in the top, or the right middle. He's as far away from the comet as he can get. We go to the magic phase. Oh, wait. There we go. There's that. Go to the shooting phase, and archers just continue to pick on this unit, but it doesn't matter. I think, actually, now that I think about it, I think I might have got them down to a quarter their original size, which would give me half points, so that's nice. And nothing else really happens. My general charges in. I don't get heroic killing blow on this guy. I'm like, crap, he's going to kill my general. But he doesn't. We all live. And that wraps up the game. So we countered it up, and yeah, it was a good solid win for the Ogres, probably, I don't know, a 15-5 or something like that. But just a real fun game. Yeah, I realized that it's like I miss this. I miss games like this. I mean, certainly I felt a lot of bad dice for the Bretonnians, but it's a dice rolling game, and that's going to happen. But overall, yeah, good fun. Here. Thank you so much for watching the video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has a variety of functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like or comment on the video, you can favorite it, you can share it, and of course you can subscribe to the channel. And I encourage you to do any or all of those things as a way of interacting between viewer and producer. As always, I appreciate your patronage on the channel and wish you all the best.